Is this the best tennis season we've ever seen? Jannik Sinner's 2024 campaign has tennis fans asking if we're witnessing a new GOAT in the making.
He is the man to beat right now.
I've never played, in my opinion, anyone who played like Jannik today. And I would usually, when we compare Carlos to Jannik, I would think of Jannik a bit more consistent, more like a machine. And Carlos a bit more, up and down with the flair. But when Carlos is on top of his game, I would consider that he's a bit better, but when we're talking about peak. And today I changed my opinion. I never played someone who played like Jannik today. I couldn't.
Jannik Sinner has just rewritten the history books. This wasn't just a great season. It's a season that makes you rethink what's possible in tennis. He defeated Novak Djokovic, the GOAT, 3 times on hard courts. Let that sink in. The same Djokovic who's dominated for 2 decades. Sinner didn't just beat him, he made it look routine. 2 Grand Slam titles, the season-ending Masters, a Davis Cup victory for Italy, and here's the jaw-dropper. A staggering 73-6 record with a win rate of 92%. 8 ATP titles, including 3 Masters, over 3,000 points ahead of world number 2 Alexander Zverev, all while playing fewer tournaments than anyone else in the top 10. Efficiency? Sinner wrote the manual. Jannik Sinner achieved what many thought was impossible, beating Novak Djokovic, rewriting history, and putting himself in the same conversation as Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. But does he truly belong there? And yet, here's the kicker. Sinner never lost a match in straight sets all season. Even in his 6 defeats, he took a set. Only one other player has achieved this in the Open era, Roger Federer. That's not just consistency, that's freakish resilience. Here's the big question. How does Sinner's 2024 stack up against the all-time great seasons? Federer's imperious 2006? Nadal's warrior-like 2010? Djokovic's clinical 2015? Or even the icons from before? Rod Laver in 1969, Jimmy Connors in 1974, and John McEnroe in 1984.
Playing at a level above people, and I felt like it all clicked. That was the best I ever was. I felt like for a moment that I was like, wow, I don't know if anyone could beat me, ever.
These seasons didn't just rewrite the record books, they redefined tennis itself. So where does Prime Jannik fit into this pantheon? And the craziest part? He's just getting started. If this isn't his peak, what will it take to outdo 2024? Let's break it down stat by stat, dominance by dominance, and see how Sinner's incredible run compares to the greatest seasons in tennis history. First up, Roger Federer. 2006 was Federer's kingdom, and tennis was his playground. 3 Grand Slam titles, Australian Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open. He even made the French Open final, but Rafa ruined the perfect run. Federer's win-loss record? 92-5. That's a 95% win rate. He claimed 12 titles, including 4 Masters and the season-ending championships. And he went toe-to-toe with Rafael Nadal in 6 finals, beating him 4 times. He only lost to 2 players that season, Rafael Nadal and Andy Murray.
He's done it!
He's done it!
If Federer's season was an elegant symphony, Rafael Nadal's 2010 was pure gladiator warfare. Nadal didn't just win, he obliterated opponents. It's considered one of the greatest seasons of all time, and even Nadal himself has called it his best year. After a knee injury slowed him early in the year, Nadal came roaring back to win 3 consecutive Grand Slams, the French Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open, completing the surface slam. At Roland Garros, not a single drop set. Wimbledon, untouchable, and the US Open, Nadal finally conquered hard-court Grand Slam tennis, taking down Djokovic in a brutal final. Nadal further cemented his place in history by becoming the first and only player to date to win Monte Carlo Masters, Madrid Masters, Rome Masters, and the French Open in a calendar year, a feat now known as the Clay Slam. By year's end, Nadal had a 71-10 record, 7 titles, and a new nickname. Not just the King of Clay, but the King of Tennis. Before we dive into Djokovic's legendary 2015, let us know in the comments, where do you rank Sinner's 2024 season so far? Better than Roger or Rafa's great seasons? If Sinner's season was a masterpiece, Djokovic was like watching a sci-fi movie, because his numbers seemed impossible. 3 Grand Slam titles and a French Open final, where only Stan Wawrinka could stop him with a once-in-a-lifetime performance. Beyond the slams, Djokovic won 6 Masters 1000 titles. 6, his record, 82 and 6. He also claimed the ATP finals and 11 titles in total. He reached 15 consecutive finals, recorded 31 victories against players in the top 10, and broke the calendar prize money for a single season, winning over 20 million. He even went 15, 4 against the Big Four that year, dismantling Roger, Rafa and Andy Murray that year. His ability to turn defense into attack? Practically unfair. His dominance that year? It wasn't tennis, it was a clinic. This goes down as one of the greatest seasons of all time. Let's not forget the legends who paved the way. Rod Laver's Grand Slam sweep in 1969 wasn't just a milestone, it was a mic drop. Winning all 4 majors in a single calendar year is the tennis equivalent of landing on Mars. And guess what? This was actually the second time he did it, having it achieved the same feat in 1962. Laver's record that year, 106-16. That's not just greatness, it's extraterrestrial. No wonder they named Centre Court after him in Australia. In 1974, Jimmy Connors was tennis's bad boy, wielding his 2-handed backhand like a weapon. He won 3 Grand Slams, the Australian Open, Wimbledon and the US Open. His record, 93-4. And yet, the ATP politics kept him out of the French Open. We'll never know if he could have won all 4, but numbers suggest he would have been heavy favourite. McEnroe in 1984 was tennis's multitasking genius. His singles record? 82-3. This remains the best single-season win rate of the Open era. He won Wimbledon, the US Open, and narrowly lost the French Open in a heartbreaking final. He won 13 singles tournaments. He began the year on a 42-match win streak, and despite such success, McEnroe still ended the year in controversy, being suspended for 3 weeks due to an outburst at the chair umpire. Special mentions to 2005 Federer, Novak's 2011, and Rafa's 2013 seasons. However, I decided to include only their best seasons. It was marginal, but I thought to only include their best as part of the debate. Andy Murray's 2016 season was pretty special too. He went 78, 9 winning Wimbledon, gold at the Olympics and the Tour finals, and making 2 other Grand Slam finals. So, where does Jannik Sinner's 2024 season rank among these titans? It's too early to say definitively, but here's what's clear. His consistency, his all-court dominance, and his jaw-dropping achievements have placed him in this legendary conversation. And the wildest part? This might not even be his peak. Federer, Nadal and Djokovic only reached their full potential after their breakthrough years. If that holds true for Sinner, we could be witnessing the start of a career that redefines greatness. So, what do you think? Is 2024 Jannik Sinner's greatest season, or is the best still yet to come? Do Sinner's numbers match up to Federer's dominance, Nadal's resilience, or Djokovic's clinical perfection? And could this just be the start of something even greater? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.